Right. Good evening. Welcome to our April 5th City Council meeting. It is 7:01 p.m. Meeting is now in session. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor Samuel Martinez from Amazing Love Ministries. Councilman Wu will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise.
Thank you, Mayor. Heavenly Father, as we gather here today, we thank you for the peace in our borders. We thank you, Father, for the freedoms that we so richly enjoy. We thank you for our American servicemen, Father, domestically and abroad, for all those, Father, that have served and are serving right now, so that we may enjoy these freedoms, Father, that we have in our country. We pray for peace, Father, in the European continent, Father. We pray for a quick end to that conflict and that, Father, the conflict end righteously. Father, we ask you now that you guide all those that work for this city, that are in leadership capacity in this city, the mayor, city council, our chief of police, our city manager, city attorney, and all those that are involved, Father. Guide us and lead us, for we acknowledge that we need your direction, we need your guidance. Father, I speak a blessing upon the residents of our city. Health, Father, every need met of theirs. Wisdom imparted, Father, unto our educators, and that you, Father, protect our children, and every school in West Covina be a safe haven. Father, we bless the businesses. And Father, I thank you for America. I thank you for this city. God bless America. God bless West Covina. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Everyone, please put your right hand to your heart and face the flag and follow my lead. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Assistant City Clerk, roll call, please.
Good evening, Mayor. Councilmember Tabatabai.
Present.
Councilman Wu.
Here.
Mayor Castellanos.
Here.
Noting that Councilwoman Lopez Viado and Mayor Pro Tem Diaz are absent this evening.
Thank you. And since we didn't have closed session today, there's nothing to be reported. Is there anything to add from our city attorney? Nothing? Okay. Takes us to the presentations part of our agenda. We have a proclamation for National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And we'll invite Communications Supervisor Sylvia Dorsey. Public Safety Emergency Telecommunicators serve as the single vital link for our first responders by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them up-to-date information, and ensuring the safety of all involved. The Public Safety Emergency Telecommunicators of the West Covina Police Department have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And in the past year, each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of his or her job. April 10th through 16th of this year is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, and the council and I urge the residents of our community and communities across the country to support the individuals whose diligence and professionalism keep our city, citizens, and visitors safe. And do you have a presentation for us?
I'd like to thank you, City Council, on behalf of all of us and the dispatch.
You want to tilt it down a little bit? It'll sound better. There you go.
Okay. I'd just like to thank the City Council on behalf of all of us here in the Dispatch Center, and recognizing us for National Telecommunications Week.
You can twist it.
Oh, closer.
There you go.
I'd also like to thank my fellow colleagues. I work with a great group of dispatchers. We're a great team. We're small, but we're mighty. I'd also like to thank our Chief Bell and our Captain Cortina and our dispatch manager, Mary Rodriguez, for our continuous support. This is not an easy job, but with their continuous support, has helped us get through some of those tough times as well as the good times. And I just want to thank you again.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have a proclamation.
On behalf of myself, the City Council, and the City of West Covina, here's a proclamation for National Public Safety Telecommunications Week.
Thank you.
Presented to you. You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Oh, here we go. Picture. Photo, if you don't mind. Thank you. Thank you, guys. We will now move to oral communications. If anyone would like to address the council, please fill out a yellow speaker card and submit it to the Assistant City Clerk. If you are in attendance to speak regarding the public hearing, please hold your comments to when that item is being discussed. Assistant City Clerk, how many speakers do we have tonight?
Mayor, we have 7 this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Our first speaker is Armando, followed by Mike Greenspan, followed by Elsie Messman.
Woo, woo. Let's put the light on the facts. Let us put the light on the facts. What's our time? We're back to 5 minutes? YouTube video shows that some of your residents, my neighbors, were saying to you, Mr. Mayor, that you're behaving like a baby. When Mr. Herman and a gentleman by the name of Mr. Greenspan are here visiting this city, you tend to reduce our times to 3 minutes. So either you are a fool or you learn not to be a fool. Because when you deduct our time, it means that you're discriminating. And bald-headed men like you who discriminate are fools. And Mr. Wu knows that America's doomed because the Chinese are going to attack America sooner or later, and we're all doomed. But as far as you, Mr. Mayor, on our case number for the record, 22 WCSC 00027, regarding a slip and fall in West Covina. Now, notice of judgment, which is in layman's terms, but notice of entry of judgment means that I, Armando Herman, defeated your city on that issue of that slip and fall because you did not take the proper precautions to provide adequate access that was safe. So I tripped on a 3/8 rebar and broke my finger. But you don't care. All you care about is wasting all the taxpayers and West Covina's money on BS, like particularly item 15. Now, we know you ain't going to do anything for homeless people, let alone people on drug abuse under La Cada. Why don't you call it La Caca, like Eric Caca Garcetti, the mayor of Los Angeles, who does not have that opportunity now to go to India because everyone knows Eric Garcetti failed. He failed, dumped all the homeless people out here in West Covina and through every city because mayors like you, Dario, that don't know but nothing, fool. So an idiot like you has to learn the hard way. Like that time when you destroyed my vehicle in the parking lot and I reported it to the FBI at 310-477-6565. That's a terrorist threat. And they're looking into it. I ain't worried. See my sign here? You can't read it, but it says the draft. Now, is that unconstitutional? Cohen versus California, 403 USC 1971? Or is this a threat because I wear Guns N' Roses? What is it, fool? Tell the public, Mayor. You want to censorship us? You want to attack us on our First Amendment because we're Americans and we have beliefs and opinions far different from the actions you guys take to fuck up our neighborhoods with homelessness. Like the Merrill Gardens right here off of West Covina. That's sad. A whole facility, they're empty because our children that go to college can't pay the rent to live there. Live in their community. Live close to home, or in case mommy and daddy want to check up on you. No, send them outside of the school area. Send them to Sacramento, where the boys from the hood come in and shoot up and kill people. 6 killed. Who's out there at 2 a.m. anyways in Sacramento? That's a shithole of a place. Run by the governor of this state, Gavin Newsom. So, look, what's there to be afraid of? No more shills, no more masks. So let's open up this country. Let's open up our cities. Let's get Hilda Solis, the bimbo, who right now is out there advertising for you to re-elect her, which some of you will. That's your opinion. That's your choice. Fuck it. You got dumb Biden. Right, Dario? Isn't it true? See, I'm an educator. And in education, my conflict was always about what Huckleberry Finn said in his novel. You know what it said? He said, the nigger stole it. The nigger stole it on page 212 of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And you want to call me what? You want to censor me what? You want to do what? That's because you're a dumbass. Thank you, sir.
Mike Greenspan, followed by Elsie Messman, followed by Albert Ochoa.
So I'm submitting these to the record, ma'am. My case. Complaints to Hilda Solis. There you go. Thank you very much.
Elsie Messman, followed by Albert Ochoa.
Thank you for the win, Mr.
Leslie
Mayor.
Floyd.
On my slip and fall. Next time you get this shit cleaned up and fixed, homie. So nobody get hurt. Thanks for the 5 minutes, fool.
Good evening, everyone at home and here. My name is Elsie Messman. My first question is, why do we have 2 assistant managers? The last assistant manager came from La Puente. Isn't that the same city that our city manager got fired from? And from what I heard, the new employee for the maintenance comes from La Puente, along with some code enforcements. Also, at the last meeting, after the recess from 8:30 to 9, between 8:30 and 9, both assistant managers brought refreshments for the council. Is that what they are getting paid for? Must be nice. Next, I got a surprise when I came across a check paid to Suburban Water for the Sportsplex. In October, we paid $140,583. We pay $10,000 a month for landscaping and around $10,000 for water. I have a copy of the $140,583 if anyone wants to see it, although it doesn't state what month it entails. The last year, the city had an employees' luncheon at the Sportsplex, which was catered by El Cho Cafe from Pasadena. In November, we paid $11,496, and the balance was paid in December of $8,261, making a total of $19,757. Wouldn't it be nice if you had some West Covina restaurant that got that money instead of Pasadena? What a shame. Why are we selling the maintenance yard and displacing the fire department? This is costing us a fortune. We just paid $3,645 for 2 engines, $30,000 for a med unit from the city of Laverne, temporary lockers for $9,800, temporary facilities for staff, $102,500, and that's just a few of the costs. Why didn't we wait until we either moved the fire station and built a new one or did something to the old one before we sell the maintenance yard and put all of this money to building? Remember the roll-down doors that were put in at the maintenance department now? I said, if it's coming down, then that's a waste of money. Do you have a budget for this item, or are you just shooting from the hip? The fire department is not the only department in the city, and I hope that they have brought down the overtime that's $1 million. I'd like an answer to see if they brought down that overtime tonight, if possible. And why don't we start paying down some of the bonds and paying for, instead of paying for festivals and luncheons that aren't necessary? If council wants to entertain, let them pay. If Wu's council wants to entertain, pay out of your own pocket. National Night Out is also known as the Neighborhood Watch Program, and that should be done in each neighborhood. Not one big one, which I probably want to do it out of a sportsplex again. And along with me, other people wanted to have it in their neighborhood. We don't care who lives next to you. We care who lives next to us, so we know what's happening and how to protect them. So I think that if you're planning on the sportsplex for this, I think it should be canceled. Thank you.
Albert Ochoa, followed by Les Lefroy, followed by Win-Win Zhang.
Hello, City Council, City Manager, staff. Albert Ochoa, West Covina resident, 23 years. I came here back on October 19, 2021 to address a safety vehicle issue of cars speeding, causing accidents onto our residential properties. It still is an ongoing issue. We just had another serious accident Saturday, 3/26/22. The vehicle was speeding and crashed onto our brick wall that divides my neighbor and my driveway. Traffic team replied back that they have recommendations that will be coming up to City Council soon. I've reached out to our District 3 Watch Commander, Lieutenant Daniels, to ask for traffic enforcement in the evening. We understand they can't always be here. For this reason, we need to come up with a solution that will make the vehicles to drive at the safe posted speed. So I did submit pictures. I have a map of my residential where accidents continue to happen. And just want to address this issue and trying to come out with something to make our residential street back to normal, make it safe. Traffic team, I forward a lot of pictures to them from pretty much every year we have an accident. I'm not sure if you guys have got those, but again, I'll be more than willing to forward them again. And thank you for your time.
Les Lefroy, followed by Win-Win Zhang, followed by Steve Hertford.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Les Lefroy. I wish to address agenda item number 3, the new district map system. I know it's based on census, but by moving me from District 4 into District 3, I will be unable to vote in the upcoming election. I can pay my property tax, yet I can't vote. The city election should be just that, a city election, citywide. That's the way the election should be. What's to keep the council from making a move 2 years from now? Then I can't vote again? Would you take my tax dollars, but I can't vote? It doesn't make any sense. How many council members are affected by this move? I'm asking the question. How many council members are affected by this move? I guess none of you are affected, but I'm affected. Okay? Because each council member lives in the district they represent. If you're in District 4 and you represent District 4, but you live in District 2, I mean, why even have the districts? It doesn't make any sense. In my opinion, the council should represent the entire city, not just this part, that part. I don't care where you live, as long as you do what's right for the city. You know, so, or you live in this area, you live in that area. I don't care about that, okay? I submitted a letter to my councilman, Dario, who's now the mayor, July of last year. July. I've yet to receive a reply. But I can pay my taxes. You don't give me the courtesy of lie to me, tell me something. Don't just ignore me. And that's what you did. And I remember that, okay? There's also, people talk about the First Amendment, there's also the 15th Amendment, which means I can vote. But West Covina telling me I can't vote because it's not just this district's turn to vote. Doesn't make any sense. I remember how each of you voted. I know how this is going to go down. I know what you're going to vote for, but I'm just voicing my opinion. It's not going to change anything, but I'm letting you know how I feel, okay? I have taxation without representation. Doesn't make any sense, okay? Each council member is paid once a month. You should start earning that money because you're sure not earning it, in my opinion. Thank you.
Wen Zhang, followed by Steve Hertford, followed by Tanya Lamone. Wen. Oh, thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and Mr. City Manager, staff, and all the members of the community. I'm Wen Zhang, and I'm the West Covina Library Manager. And this week is National Library Week. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you, the City Council, Mayor, City Manager, and the staff, and also the folks of the community. Thank you for your ongoing support to the library. And also, I wanted to thank my staff for their hard work of serving the community. Thank you all. Now, some announcements. There have been some recent changes in days and times that West Covina Library provides sidewalk service. Here's the new schedule. Tuesday and Wednesday, 12 to 8 p.m. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we are closed on Sunday and Monday. West Covina Library is still closed for renovation and no in-person service at this point. So we apologize for any inconvenience that this may have caused you. I'm sorry. And library continues to provide sidewalk service and also the phone service. The book drops for returns are open all the time. For April, we have a system-wide spring reading sprint program going on through the end of April. We are challenging readers of all ages, to our spring reading sprint. Read for 400 minutes to cross the finish line, and you can earn badges for every 100 minutes read and get a chance to win prizes. You may register online to join on the library's website, LA County Library's website. And we also giving out more activity kits for April. We have Black Poetry kits for teenagers to celebrate the April National Poetry Month. For school-age children, we have Celebrate Dear, Discover Fun Recipes with My Family. Actually, this is a virtual program, virtual program that will be held on Thursday, April the 14th at 4 o'clock. Children will learn healthy snacks they can make and eat for their strong bodies and energy. Okay. And the activity, even though they are not attending the program, they can still come to the library to pick up the kids, activity kits. The activity kits are available for pickup at the library, and first come, first served as supply last. I wanted to thank you for the opportunity for me to share what's going on at the library, and thank you for your time. Have a good evening.
Steve Hertford, followed by Tanya Lamone.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Good to see you all again. My name is Steve Hertford. I grew up here in West Covina on the playgrounds and the parks of the city. And now I'm entertaining my grandkids on those same playgrounds and parks. But I think we have a little bit of a tear in the fabric of West Covina. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. One time I had my grandkids and I wanted to play a little football with them, so I went to Cortez Park. It's pretty packed. We've got 3 baseball fields there. Couldn't really practice there, so we went over to Cortez School, which was entertaining an adult soccer game, and they had a table set up. So we parked. We walked inside. There was a whole field open, and I asked if we could just play a little catch with the football, which they said, well, yeah, come on in. It's okay. But we want you to know that we have a permit to play here. We're going to allow you to do that, but just in the future, just so you know. So then another time, my wife and I went over to West Covina High School to play tennis, and the courts were locked. We went to Edgewood High School, the courts are locked. We went to Covina High School, the courts are locked. South Hills High School, they were locked, but you could still get in, and we were able to play there. The school district has posted signs at each of their schools, and it basically says use of sports field and courts are by permit only. So I'm addressing the general plan update tonight because in our general plan, we use our schools they're basically used as open space. And in each school, the description of the school lists how the residents can get into the schools, the access, and they're part of our community. And we've locked down over 275 acres of school playgrounds, and it's a tear in our fabric to the community. That's where I grew up, on the playgrounds of the school. So what I'm asking tonight is for whoever's doing the staff report, maybe to address that. But I'm also going to attend school board meetings. I want to see the tennis courts open. Right now in the city of West Covina, we have 6 tennis courts, 4 at Del Norte Park, 2 at Shadow Oak Park. We have 5 basketball courts outside, and these are in parks, Cameron, and actually not Cameron, Walmorado and a couple other parks, Shadow Oak Park, and in the city. There's no place to play basketball, basically. The tennis courts are closed. No open space to fly a kite, except maybe at a park if there's enough room there, but our parks are pretty packed. So when you look at the general plan, we have over 500 acres of open space and parks in the city. If you take out the landscape maintenance district and the paseos, that knocks out about 275 acres. So we're down below 200 acres of park space in the city, and we really need, we need the Sportsplex opened. That's 27 acres of park space. That would go a long way, and whoever addresses the general plan update tonight, I hope they speak to that. I submitted a petition last year, 2 petitions, one on May 11th and one on June 2nd. Actually, one of them was just a letter to the council talking about the Sportsplex being a park, and the other one was to petition on June 2nd. I never received the response to it, so if we could get an answer on what's going on with the Sportsplex. I went up there the other day, it was locked, and it would be an added addition to the city. Like I said, I'm going to go to the city or to the school board meetings too and talk to them. I don't know what the municipal pool situation is. It used to be both the city and the school district. I don't know if they have taken that over totally. The other thing I want to address too is the tracks in the city. We vote for bonds for school board measures to fund the schools. This is all taxpayer money. We support it. They put in the new tracks, they put in the new facilities, and the public can't use them. So the kids benefit, obviously, and I support that. I support everything we do with our parks and recreation, too. But things like tennis courts are really needed. Basketball courts are needed. And so we used to have a school board liaison committee. I don't know if you still have that or not, but that may be one way to address the issue. But I think in the city, that's a critical issue that needs to be addressed. So with the general plan update tonight, maybe somebody can speak to it. Thank you.
Tanya Lamone.
Good evening, City Council members, Mayor. I've been coming to the meetings to advocate for my children and everything, and I would have taken to the school board meeting first, but you guys were first on the calendar, so here I am. I don't know if you guys are aware, but on April 1st, there was 5 fights at West Covina High School. 5. It was complete chaos. Police were called. It was just an absolute mess. My daughter texted me from school, Mom, all this is going on. The security guards are grabbing us into the classrooms. It was just a real mess. Also with that, and which I think that the city council and the school board really need to work hand in hand to really get a handle on this, because it's getting out of control. These kids have no sense of how serious these things are. And with that, they have made a compilation video of the fights. And it's really good. These kids did really good with the tech and everything like that. This was found on Instagram. And it just shows that these things aren't being taken seriously. Either the consequences that they're receiving are not serious enough. The parents aren't getting involved fast enough. These things spill out onto the street from the school. This is where I feel that the city council can step in and should step in. As we know, our police force is, very, stretched thin with their resources and everything. They did respond. There was a lot of responses from them on that day on April 1st. But I would really like to see, and kind of echoing what the resident before me was saying, that there needs to be more work between the city council and the school board to help our children and to make sure that we are raising and preparing them to be productive members of society. And I feel right now that we're failing them in that aspect. So if you guys could please advocate for us on that, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Bill Robinson.
Good evening. One of the biggest problems plaguing our troubled democracy is concentrated media ownership. 6 major media companies include Viacom, Comcast, Disney, News Corp, Time Warner, MSLSD. Corporate owners of official media owned by big tech and pharma, backed by the CDC's emergency use authorization powers, basically martial law. Our population needs actual information to cast their votes. We get biased information as media has become cheerleaders for a point of view, not a check on government and government abuses and lies. Censorship allows only one opinion at the moment. Instead of learning about the technocracy, nanotechnology, experimental gene therapy, nanoenvelopes, and graphene-based hydrogels, this opportunity for voters is absent due to an absent news media. The important medical numbers are being hidden. How can we break the hypnotic media technology and the mind control? People don't even know their minds are being controlled using subtle CIA development techniques. Ever heard of MK Ultra? The scale of what's going on exceeds the Manhattan Project post-World War II. But what are the goals? Lots of patents on messenger RNA technology. Lots of scientific studies are going on for 20 plus years. Billions of dollars invested, a global collaboration of scientific enterprises. The agenda is hidden in plain sight. Transhumanism, machine humans, hacked humans, become patented and owned. There's a U.S. Supreme Court 2013 case on this. On messenger RNA technology. social credit scores. 5G connects us to the internet. We're tracked, traced, and have you ever heard of the Internet of Bodies? Nanotechnicians don't understand the big pictures. Create a controlled prison planet for this new technology with elites saying we will own nothing, but we will be happy. So we have misinformation on one hand and an unrestricted bioweapon virus on the other, developed by DARPA. There's a new kind of warfare, and that's why we're having a problem with the Ukraine. The bioweapons lab, Russia doesn't like bioweapons labs. Gain of lethal function research combined with toxic vaccines with many adverse reactions. People don't realize how many adverse reactions. They especially damage your immune system and create inflammatory autoimmune disorders. I'm happy to announce that next Sunday there's going to be at downtown LA Defeat the Mandates rally. Next Sunday, April 10th, we'll gather at Grand Park downtown, probably 20,000 people. People that refuse to be controlled like farm animals. We will lose control of our body, our health records, in favor of complete military takeover. But dissenters who love freedom will gather, and expert speakers flying in from all across the country, including a band, entertainment. We can Metrolink in or bus in on the Silver Streak. Metro buses leave every hour on Sundays from the West Covina Library bus stop. West Covina residents are smart, moderate, balanced people and need to show up on Sunday to take a stand. To finish, there are 10 unconstitutional bills circulating in the legislature right now, which undermine the...
Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
My last sentence, doctor-patient relationship. This needs to be defeated, and we're losing our First Amendment rights.
Mr. Ochoa, could you stay for the city manager to respond to your question? Thank you.
We have one more speaker, Mayor, J.D. Robinson. Or J.D., excuse me, J.D.
Good evening. We're missing a couple of dignitaries here. Piggyback on Mr. Herford's concerns. And I addressed this question to you when you first got on council, Mr. Castellano. You were sitting over with Mr. Tabatabai today. And you expressed to me you had concerns about it. But I never really heard from the city manager as to whether it was going to be turned into a parking lot or an extension of the softball field. And I'm referring to, of course, the property on Cameron, adjacent to the Cameron Park. It's become a little bit of a problem lately, but I think you guys are getting ready to do something with it. And in regards to that, I was wondering if maybe tonight you can share what the city council or the city manager's plan is for that property. Will it be an extension of the softball field? Will it be a parking lot? Will we be getting something different or more the same? Just an update would be appreciated. Thank you. Oh, that's not.
I have no further speaker cards, Mayor.
Thank you for that. City Manager, would you please respond to public comment concerns?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members of the public. Try and provide some brief responses to the suggestions and comments that were made. Mr. Armando noted a trip and fall, and that matter was decided and resolved in the small claims court. I hope you're okay. I know you hurt your finger. Elsie Messmith asked about the city's water bill. We properly pay that, and it's on the warrant register, and I am happy to provide any more information if she needed it. Ms. Messman asked about Fire Station 1. It's a very fair question. We didn't wait to move out of that because the building was condemned. We had an initial risk management assessment by our insurance pool that we're a member of, we together with some 120 other cities. They identified in that initial risk management assessment 63 major things that need to be done, including the top 7 which have been completed, another 20 or so which have also been completed, and we've got another couple dozen that should be completed by this fall. We asked for a special and in-depth report about Fire Station 1. It's a facility that was built in the 60s as a temporary facility, placed into service, and never properly maintained. It was unsafe in just about every way. So we stood up some temporary crew quarters behind the old shop building, and we're going to run the equipment ambulance, rescue ambulance, and the pumper engine out of that facility. We did put on electric doors on that. The old shop building had a system where the doors were raised mechanically with a metal stick. I was out there one day and saw it in the wind. It just didn't look safe to me, which is why I recommended and we awarded a bid for new doors. Happy to report we've moved into the new temporary quarters, interim quarters behind the old shop building. Seems to be working very well. Finally, Ms. Smith asked about National Night Out. That's a very important community event that's participated by thousands of cities across the country. It's the first Tuesday in August. There's been some conversation at the staff level about whether that would garner more attention and participation and awareness of that relationship with the police department if we had it at a centralized location. Cities do that both ways. Maybe we could do it both ways, but there is some conversation about doing it on a centralized basis. It might give the chief of police and our command staff and our officers more face time rather than to attend all of the different potluck neighborhood events all around town, but no decision's been made about that. That one is pending. I wanted to speak to Mr. Ochoa, his family. Thank you for the pictures tonight about the speeding car. I saw those when they came in, and I agree with whoever from the police department told you about the law officer presence. If we can solve it through engineering rather than through enforcement, we're way better off because it's impossible under any scenario for us to have enough police officers to handle that. But it's a serious situation. We're taking it very seriously. We have a very good traffic engineer, and we've asked Ms. Robbins to give a report to the council. As she gives those reports, we bring them forward and ask the council to approve whatever monies are necessary to get those implemented. I don't know what her solutions will be there, but it's obvious we need to find one. So thank you for coming tonight and sharing that. We'll be back to you once she gives us a traffic engineering report about what we could or should do differently there. It's not good. Mr. Floyd, I believe it is, asked about agenda item 3 and the question as to whether the city could return to citywide elections. If I ran the world, we'd have a citywide election. That would be my personal preference, but the city is required by a lawsuit to have these districts, and based on the 2020 census, we're required to rebalance them so that each district has basically equal population. It's been now in front of council for, I believe, 4 different public hearings, and the end result is that there were some slight changes necessary to the city's districts. So some of the residents that were in one district are going to be in a new district, and they won't be voting for a council member in that new district until the next election cycle, which is 4 years out. Wenwen Zhang, our library director, thank you for highlighting National Library Week. We celebrate that with you. We very much appreciate all of the work that you do and for sharing the new schedule. We'll get that up on our website as well. Mr. Herford made some very cogent comments about some needs that we have with respect to the city parks facilities, mentioning especially the facility use agreements and the tennis courts. We have, for the first time now in 3 years, a meeting with the council and the school board representatives scheduled for about a month out, as I recall, and we're going to have facility list on that use at the top of the list. Those are beautiful facilities, and we want access to them. They've, in the past, West Covina Unified has honored a fee schedule which keeps those user fees much reduced compared to the actual cost of keeping them open, but they are, in fact, community assets. We want to get the public in them as best we can. So that's on our agenda to talk about with the school board. Segueing to Tanya Lamont's comments about school safety, we also will be addressing that at the joint school board meeting with the city council as subcommittees they meet. And there's actually some really good work that goes on in that setting. We are very and painfully aware of the incident which occurred on April 1st. The initial report of the melee was that there were some 200 people fighting. And when the chief told me, I asked him, I said, Chief, do you mean 200 people watching? It wasn't 200 people watching. It was, in fact, a very serious breach of student safety and school safety. Our officers responded quickly, and immediately there were, I believe, 3 or 4 arrests that day, which I'm sorry that happened, but I believe our department responded pretty immediately. I was proud of that. But we will keep that also on the agenda for the joint council school board meeting. Mr. Robinson talked about a lot of things I didn't understand, but I'm trying. JD talked about Cameron Park. We haven't yet figured out a plan for what to do to expand the park. Our immediate goal is to try to get our city facilities, our buildings, our parks, especially our park restrooms, to standard. It's something that is maybe easy to say but hard to do. Regarding Cameron Park, we're pleased to report we have an item on council's agenda tonight to award a bid to get that Cameron Park restroom rebuilt. It's not to standard. It's in very poor condition. It's not acceptable. And it'll be a happy day in my life when we get that thing rebuilt and placed back in service. I think that's all I've got this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. It looks like we also have a question from Councilman Wu.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I want to respond to Mr. Ochoa regarding your concern. I live in your neighborhood since 1989 till 2003, so I know that street very well. Okay, and I live in 235 Leaf, L-E-A-F, very close to your home, right? I live over there for almost 14 years, and I have 2 kids, okay, born over there. But I know the situation because that street is really the problem, and they try everything. They try to put a stop sign. They try to put alert in front of that corner house. That corner house, they put a blocker, but the car still hit it. Okay, so we have to find a way. And you can see in front of Cherrywood, okay, city put blocker, so make the street, because that is a problematic street, and the people coming in and they hit on that house. So I understand the concern, but really we need to find a way, city manager. Okay, and how can we, stop the people speeding on the East Garvey South? Okay, I think that is the issue. Maybe we can put some kind of reflector. People know it comes to a dead end, so they make a swinging right. So how can we do it? So hopefully we can find a solution, because I know those 2 houses be hit all the time. And since I'm living over there, for a long time. So I think that is one of a very dangerous corner. Okay, and I think the corner house took a long time to sell it, because the people don't feel safe. So I understand about that. So hopefully we can find a solution. And I think I haven't seen Mr. former Mayor Steve Herford for a long time. Welcome back, and I think he has another question regarding the sportplex. And I know we are doing the renovation right now, so maybe we can answer his question when we can open it up so people can book the place, to play. I think right now I saw their post, they're doing a major renovation so it's playable. And my understanding, due to the, obsolete for so long, they haven't, for 2 years, they kind of abandoned the place. So right now the city is fixing it. I think they hire the professional level, everything, to make sure it be safe for people to play. But I don't know the schedules. Maybe the city manager can, when they can book the place, and including the indoor soccer field so people can play soccer right there. This is additional, and the ballpark, 6 baseball field can entertain a lot of team. And then another thing regarding the school, and I think this is an issue because last year, State of the City and the school board, the school superintendent show us all the beautiful facility and say the resident can use. So I don't know why they lock it. So I think that we need to talk to the school board. And they have a new superintendent, Dr. Flores. I think she's very kind, okay, and very proactive. So possible we can communicate with her, see we can have their school district open up for people to utilize. But another thing, I think they worry about the vandalism and all that kind of security issue. It's such a beautiful taxpayer pay for it. We don't want to get destroyed by, okay, without the supervision. So this is maybe an issue. We need to work it out, okay, and that is what, okay, and regarding the school, that day when that thing, they notified us, okay, the city council, we right away called the superintendent, and okay, basically it's kind of April Fool. I'm not trying to minimize the problem, but a lot of kids try to exaggerate and talking about 200 students. But my understanding that day, we call in the superintendent and assistant principal. It's a 2 girl fighting, and then they become quite a few and try to make us act and post on the TikTok and try to get attention because April Fool Day. So just want to share with you. It's not like we don't care. We care so much. I'm so worried. We're so worried about 200 kids. Okay, because it never happened in West Covina School District, never happened to our city, so we kind of shocked. But hopefully, find out is not really less okay. But still, we still want the peace in the school. So anyway, this is try to my understanding to share with you. Okay, and the city manager maybe can share with the schedule for the sport pad can be reopened for people to use.
Through the chair, we've got some major renovations going on in the fields, which were not safe to be played on. When we met with the contractor a couple months ago, we got a commitment from him that we would have those ready to be available for our residents' use by the Dodgers opening day. So we're just a couple weeks away from that. We hope to have the public back out there within just the next couple of weeks. I don't want to announce the exact date until we sign off on it, but we want to get the people back out there pretty quickly. So I'll have some good news for you pretty quickly.
Okay, and I forgot, JD talking about Cameron Park. I think we already approved, demolished the property. I think the tenant already moved out. So what is the schedule? Last time we talked about demolish, right? Okay, so what is the schedule when the property can be demolished? Okay, so, and the city can decide what you want to do, maybe with a designer. That's now with the park become a square. So because now this corner, but my understanding, we already approved and the city, okay, will demolish those, okay, and building right there. So do you have a schedule for demolish day?
Through the chair, I know we put that out to bid, and we got bids to take down the old Chamber of Commerce building, the old Fire Station 1, and the building that we're now discussing. I'm going to have to get a date for you. I don't know it tonight. I know Assistant City Manager Lerma is here. If she has a date and wants to share it, she's welcome to come down to the podium. But I don't recall it this evening. Oh, okay. Then I don't have a date for you tonight. I'll get you that.
Thank you. And do you have a report for us today, City Manager's report?
Oh, thank you. I do. I just have a couple of items I wanted to share with the council and with the public. We are soon entering budget season. Feels like we're always in the middle of budget season. The picture for next year is I'm expecting to present an honestly balanced budget to the council, but I really want to hear from the residents. I know that a lot of people have things to say about how those monies should be prioritized. We have a budget survey up on our city website. I encourage people to take advantage of that. And if people don't have access to computers, to call my office at City Hall, call the city manager's office, and we'll make other arrangements not on the computer. I wanted to highlight, we've now just finished up 5 different community meetings with a series of community responses in each of the 5 city council districts. The city is in the midst and got a state grant of some $500,000 to completely rewrite its zoning ordinance. I didn't attend all 5, but I attended 2 of them. We got mixed attendance at that. At some of the meetings we had 10 or 12 people. At some of them we had 1 or 2. But it's a topic that's timely, and will soon be coming back to the Planning Commission for a first round of public hearings as we get to work over the next year on what the community standard should be. The city zoning ordinance hasn't been holistically, comprehensively rewritten since the mid-'70s. And so there's a lot of things that were land use topics in the 70s that are no longer land use topics. The one the consultant mentioned at the meetings was, where do we allow taxidermy shops? I don't think that's relevant anymore. But there's also some very relevant questions being asked in terms of what should the city's parking standards be, et cetera. So I would encourage people to just watch this issue, and we'll continue to reach out and seek input as this moves along. Saturday, April 9th, we're going to have cooperation with the Kiwanis, the Easter extravaganza, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Cortez Park and at Del Norte Park. Public is welcome. This one is here at the request of the mayor. We've been doing a lot of big projects in our parks, and we've been doing a lot of itty-bitty projects. I know well that former Mayor Herford is a avid park user because he's seen us out there as volunteers repairing this park. This one, we had a good little team. And if anyone is interested in volunteer projects, sometimes it tends to be strong back and weak mind work. They'd be welcome to join us on weekends. We're often out there on Fridays and Saturdays, and we're trying to just tend to things that we're able to do simply, but I think they make a good difference. And this is at Galster Park. I think it turned out pretty well. Wanted to mention a paper shredding event Saturday, April 16th. So a week Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Cortez Park Community Center, adjacent to the Senior Center. We wanted to mention not that the city has issues involved, but we are going to be offering up city facilities for use in the June 22 primary election. It's all of the positions for the U.S. Senate, the U.S. Governor's office, or excuse me, the California Governor's office, the Lieutenant Governor, the Secretary of State, the Controller, et cetera. So there's a lot of very important races that are up, and these are the dates and times. Early voting period, June 4th through June 6th, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Election day is June the 7th. These locations will be open 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. The Shadow Oak Rec Center, the Cortez Park Community Center and Senior Center, and the Cameron Park Community Center. The city's election is November the 8th. City Clerk's Office is publishing an elections calendar. The nomination period opens mid-July, the 18th through August the 12th. People are encouraged to coordinate through the Assistant City Clerk, and the phone number is there, 626-939-8433. Public is also encouraged and welcome to register to vote by mail. Sample ballots will be mailed out October the 18th. Vote centers are open on the 29th, and Election Day is November the 8th. And that's all I've got this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Takes us to the consent calendar. Council, is there anything you'd like to pull from consent? See none. Let's see here. We've got items 1 through 13. Do I have a motion to approve 1 through 13?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you for that. Roll call, please.
Before roll call, Mayor, I have an ordinance I need to read into the record.
Thank you.
Ordinance number 2495, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of West Covina, California, adjusting the boundaries of the City Council districts and adopting a new official council district map for the City of West Covina based on the results of the 2020 U.S. Census. Councilmember Tabatabai?
Aye.
Councilman Wu?
Aye.
Mayor Castellanos?
Aye. Consent calendar passes 3-0 with 2 absent. That takes us to our public hearings. Item number 14 of our agenda is the consideration of resolution number 2022-24, repealing and replacing the salary schedule for full-time classifications. The matter set for public hearing is the city's intent to amend the contract with CalPERS to implement cost sharing in accordance with Section 20516 of the California Government Code and the West Covina Police Association's MOU. Will the city clerk verify the proper legal notice has been given?
Notice has been given, Mayor.
Thank you. This time I shall open the public hearing on the city's intent to amend the contract with CalPERS to implement cost sharing. There will be first the presentation of the staff report, then we shall hear comments from the public. And I see Ms. Helen Tran here ready to present the report for us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. This is fine. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, staff, members of the public. My name is Helen Tran, Director for HR Risk Management. As you may recall, back in January of this year, the City and the Police Officers Association ratified a 3-year term MOU agreement. One of the agreed terms was to amend POA's CalPERS contract and establish additional cost sharing by the employees. To proceed with amending the city's CalPERS contract, the City Council must first adopt a resolution of intention to amend the contract and conduct a first reading of the ordinance, which is before you tonight. Following adoption of the resolution of intention, a secret ballot election will take place with the POA employees to vote to approve the adoption. Under Government Code Section 20471, we will come back in May to present to the City Council to adopt the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any questions of staff by City Council members? Mr. Wu, Councilmember Wu.
Is that the CalPERS contribution?
It's the additional cost sharing towards CalPERS.
Is that with the 12%, 15%?
For this POA, it would be from 9% to 12%.
Exactly. So, and then for PMA will be from 12 to 15%, right?
For PMA, it would be 9 to 15%. So in this item is for POA.
This one POA, so basically from 9% to 12%.
Correct.
Okay, they contribute more.
Additional, yes.
Yeah, additional. Okay, thank you. I think this is something, okay, very appreciated. Yeah, exactly. We want to thank the POA willing to help out our future because the CalPERS, okay, and the retirement is eating the city alive for future. Okay, and they're willing to share, okay, the burden, okay, for future our, okay, and the financial strengths, okay, for the long run. So we don't have a problem, okay, but so with their contribution, I think can help city a lot. So good job. Thank you so much, our HR, okay, with all this negotiation. I want to thank POA, okay, willing to do this major, okay, and improvement and help the city and get this MOU together. So I have no problems, okay, so I want to move the motion to approve.
Before we do that, we'll hold that thought, but we do have to allow the public to comment. But I will echo that sentiment. Great job, Helen. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to comment on this item?
I have no speaker cards, Mayor.
Okay, seeing none, now we could see if Mr. Tabatabai would like the second.
Yes, and echoing all the responses here. Great job, Helen. I will make the motion.
You'll be the second.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'll be the second.
All right, there we go. We got a first and a second. Thank you both.
Mayor, we need a motion for the resolution, and then we'll need a separate motion for the ordinance.
Could we do them together or separately?
No, we have to.
And that'll be for the first part.
So that's for the resolution.
Yeah. Roll call, please.
I have a motion by Councilman Wu and a second by Councilmember Tabatabai. Councilmember Tabatabai?
Aye.
Councilman Wu?
Aye.
Mayor Castellanos?
Aye. The resolution passes 3-0. Now I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the ordinance number 2496.
I'll second.
We got a second. Roll call, please.
Before roll call, I need to read the ordinance title into record.
Thank you.
Ordinance number 2496, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of West Covina, California, authorizing an amendment to the contract between the City of West Covina and the Board Administration of the California Public Employees Retirement System. I have a motion by Mayor Castellanos and a second by Councilmember Tabatabai. Councilmember Tabatabai?
Aye.
Councilman Wu?
Aye.
Mayor Castellanos?
Aye. And
Motion
the ordinance passes 3-0 as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. That takes us to departmental regular matters. Item number 15, which is consideration of an agreement with Los Angeles Centers for Alcohol and Drug Abuse, shorthand LACADA, to provide homeless services. Mr. City Manager, who will present the report?
This report will be given by our Assistant City Manager, Paulina Morales. We also have a number of staff who are quite anxious to speak should you have questions.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and fellow council members. The item before you is to bring homeless services to West Covina. We were previously with Union Station. We used their services as a cohort with several other cities. Unfortunately, the grant did end December 31st, 2021. Currently, our services include 3 hours from LASA. It's 3 hours on a weekly basis. They also do not guarantee beds, which and they do partner with a shelter in downtown Los Angeles, which is a little bit far from our community. So a little bit about Leucadia. They were established in 1971, and they have experience in homeless crisis housing, street outreach, case management. It was with, we had a meeting with the city manager and Leucadia representatives who are also here tonight. And Alhambra is a very pleased community using their services. They stated that they were able to reduce their homeless population by 50%. So they spoke very highly of their partnership with Leucadia's responsiveness to working with their police department, with their staff, and also in providing data to the city so that they can quantify the amount of services that they provide in their community. So if one of the other things that I believe was Union Station did not do was work collaboratively with our police department. There was some hesitation about having them go out and do case management and outreach. So one thing that Leucadia does is they do work very well with the police department collaboratively. So if you were to approve the contract tonight, our HOPE team would be working closely with Leucadia's staff. So the contract terms, we would have 2 full-time staff dedicated to our homeless outreach and housing navigation for West Covina. So it'd be total 80 hours a week, drastic difference from 3. It would also include staff that would be dedicated, as mentioned, which means that we would have the same individuals outreaching to those homeless individuals. That allows them to build a rapport and trust with those individuals to be able to encourage services to them. They are also able to guarantee 8 beds for West Covina. It's a recovery bridge housing with 4 beds in Pasadena and 4 in East Los Angeles for behavioral health disorders. It is not sufficient to enforce the no public camping ordinance, but that's something that we can work towards building those dedicated beds that we can have. They're also going to be. Let me
interrupt right there. How many beds would we need in order to enforce that?
I don't know if I'd leave it to the city attorney. I think that it's either 100 or 60% of our count.
Got it. 60%. Yes, Councilmember.
Yeah, I believe that based on the last count, it's around 75 beds.
Correct.
Yeah, from last time.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Continue, please.
They'd also provide case management, so it's not just about getting the individual the initial service, but following through and making sure that they continue to get that service and that they need to get them off the street and into a more permanent situation, including health services. So they also leverage other outside resources to provide for rapid rehousing and prevention for those on the verge of becoming homeless. They also specialize in substance abuse and mental illness, which is something that the city of West Covina, that's the biggest issue that we're dealing with in our community. I have to get back to the presentation. Okay. So the contract would be $250,000, and that would be for the first year. The attached budget amendment would be amending this current fiscal year to incorporate the anticipated cost of April, May, and June expenses of the contract, and then the balance of that for the remainder of the year contract would be part of the upcoming budget. So part of this is that we're able to piggyback off of Alhambra's contract, and that's why it's similar to their contract. Their contract is also for the same amount. and similar services. So we're recommending that the City Council provide direction regarding the agreement with Lacada, authorize the City Manager to negotiate and execute all necessary documents in such final form as approved by the City Attorney, and then adopt Resolution 2022-32 regarding the budget amendment. Tony Cortina, our police captain, is here to answer questions regarding the program, as well as Mary Kemp from Lacada, if Council has any questions.
Should we invite Captain Cortina?
Let me ask the budget.
Oh, city staff first. Go ahead.
Okay, let me ask the budget issue, the money issue first. Okay, then invite you. Okay, regarding the $250,000 annual budget, is left from our general fund?
No. So there's the first 2 months we would be using housing or homeless funds from the state that we have to expend by May. The remainder would be the American Recovery for the remainder, the 10 months balance.
American Recovery is only one time. So, but how about next year? The next year budget, I'm not talking about this year. This year, due to we have the federal help, from this so-called rescue fund. But how about next year in the future? If we want to a long term, this how we budget this $250,000. Do we have a grant? Because we pay major H money, to county, and they build this program that will help us with homeless. But right now we haven't got anything, so we have to find another way to help our homeless population. So my point is, how we paid this $250,000, every year, besides this year. This year I think we can use the rescue fund, but how about next fiscal, and the budget, how we deal with 23, 24. We need to see the long run. We don't want them to have a 1 year turn. We want them to continuously so we can build the resource to help the homeless population in West Covina.
Definitely. We don't want it to be a 1 year contract. We definitely want to extend it. We haven't finalized the funding. There's time urgency in getting this approved because we do have those funds we have to use before May. There is, if we do enter into a contract with Lacada, the COG has stated that the city would be allocated Measure H funds for this to apply towards this contract. We could also look at possibly getting more Measure H funds because we would have our own program implemented in our community.
And I 100% support the program. I just want to find the future money.
Correct. There's also potential of using community development block grants and housing funds.
Yeah. The point is, I have a conversation with our Congresswoman Grace Napolitano today, and she says she sent out about a lot of federal grant, including the homeless. So possible we can utilize it's a long term, and she willing to help us with our city issue. So maybe we can have our Congresswoman. She's a big help to our region and our city. So hopefully we can utilize her suggestion and have her to help us with a long-term solution. We can build up this relationship, not a fly-by 1 year. We want continue to build up, and hopefully we can get more bed, and help more resource with a mental service and et cetera, and we can utilize all this. So Assistant City Manager Paulina, so would you please get those information? And I understand, I don't know, we have any chance to get some assistance for our money at Major H, due to, based on my understanding, I in the COG, Council of Government, St. Gabriel Council of Government, and the entire 31 city is really have a major problem with Major H money. Now the city get the money back, only very few, and build some tiny home. For example, you have a 250 homeless, you build 30. So how you justify, and again, it costs a lot of money, but you have to matching fund. And how can we have a matching fund? If we already pay the Major H sales tax. So hopefully we can, find a long-term solution with a budget. Make sense? We 100% support this program. It's just we want to see the long-term solution. We will continuously with a budget that we can, have this program hopefully build up, and more resource. And that is my request to make sure we have a long-term solution for our budget. It costs $250,000. Possible gradually will cost more if we serve more people. More bad, possible we have increased to $500,000 or $1 million. Where's the money?
We will definitely look at any and all options to fund the program.
Okay.
And
Thank you so much.
City Manager, to that point, you mentioned that once we have this program in place, we might be able to ask the county for more Measure H money, given the fact that we have our own system in place?
They have stated if we are in contract with Lacada because they provide services similar to a program that they're trying to implement. So they did an RFP and they're going through that process. It'd be very similar services. It'd be duplication. So they would give us a portion of that, which they're estimating $50,000.
I would like us to look into that and make that request as soon as possible. That way, we could give them ample time to respond and coordinate with us. And as Councilmember Wu mentioned, coordination with our federal partners in Congress, and if we could look to the state as well, we'll leave no rock unturned.
Yes, we won't.
Do we have any more questions of our city staff? No? Okay, then if we could invite Captain Cortina and our Lacada. What was your name again?
Mary Kemp.
Would you both mind coming to the mic and sharing with us? Welcome, and thank you for putting this together and all the hard work that has gone into this. Anything you'd like to add regarding the program and what has been shared?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, city staff, and committee members. Here we go. One of the unique things with Lacada is they focus on subjects that are experiencing mental illness and substance abuse. And that is what we are mostly seeing out in the field. So the other unique thing is the wraparound services provided, which is, we're not seeing that with any other providers out there. And I'd like to invite Dr. Mary Kemp up to answer any additional questions.
Thank you. That sounds like that would be more effective than before. Thank you for being here. Anything else you'd like? Oh, we have a question from Councilmember Tabatabai. Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. I just, Captain Cortina, if you could maybe speak to how many hours of police resource, do you estimate we spend with those unsheltered who are dealing with the drug and mental health? Because I'd imagine that's a great cost to the city.
It's a tremendous cost. We spend several hours every single day dealing with these issues. And, it's a matter of the calls for service, the follow through, the transportation to mental facilities, all the above. And what's really important with a service like that Lacada provides is they deal with the root issues. So we're getting these repeat homeless people that have the same mental illness, same drug problems. We're not able to really fix those. This is what they do, and this would be the first service of its kind, I think, for us. And what's really unique is how they collaborate so well with the police departments. They will come to our jails and speak to our arrestees and offer them services right from that point forward. They'll follow them all the way through their case. They'll appear in court with them, work with the judges to, work on rehab and get their cases cleared out. So I think it's a really, really positive program for our homeless population out there.
And when it sounds fantastic, when you spoke with the city of Alhambra, did they have any numbers in terms of, I guess, cost? I hate to look at cost when we're saving people or helping people, but did they see a reduction maybe in the police spending when they contracted?
They did, and in fact, in the city of Alhambra, Lacada personnel respond to calls of homelessness, not the police in many cases. And that is a very unique thing as well.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Can you speak on that for us? That'd be fantastic.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. I wanted to just expound upon what Captain just spoke about. And we have been, our agency, LA CATA, has been around for 50 years, with the emphasis on drug addiction and treating alcoholism. And we've been shifting over to working closely with mental health. So with that expansion into mental health, we've just now opened our Crisis Mental Health Center with 16 beds. And so with this proliferation of mental health numbers increasing, yes, we want to talk about the homeless. Yes, we want to help the homeless. But with that, we must also talk about those with mental illness. So we've got 120 residential beds that are helping those with drug issues. So in addition to the 120, we've got the 16 crisis mental health beds. We've got 245 transitional housing beds. And we've also now got 16. These beds are important because it's one thing to do the outreach and navigate, but where are they going? And that's where I believe it sets us apart in terms of why we've been successful in Alhambra, now Hawthorne, soon Glendora, and I've been talking to your city for well over a year. So I'm proud to stand here. So again, it's not just meeting that person in that moment saying, how may I help you right in this moment? It's staying with them and assisting them and seeing that assistance all the way through. And if they say, I'm ready for drug treatment, let's go. And I'm the one to do that. We have a designated team, and I'll be working with your team, so get used to the space. And we've got 2 full-time individuals working just embedded and working right with law enforcement, because I want to do it with Captain Cortina. It's got to be integrated, and that's what we have found effective, both with law enforcement in Hawthorne and Alhambra and other cities. So we've now just identified 16 emergency beds. So while we say 8 beds, times that by 2, because we just keep expanding with those beds because we need to put individuals in beds and then ultimately house them. So it's not, we just don't want to talk about that immediate emergency bed. It's more long term. So I've had numerous meetings with the captain and the chief, and just would like to be your partner to help cut that 125 homeless number in half, at the very least, and put people into treatment if they're willing. And of course, they have to be willing.
No, thank you for saying that. I know with my meetings with Officer Ling of our Hope team, and
I'm like this with
Officer
Ling.
The number of times he's told me that people were ready and there just wasn't a bed for them, and then you lose them, right?
You got to take them right then, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Full time, and have a presence here in your city.
And to hear that it'll also free up our officers to be, on patrol or taking care of other issues, and then the constant just presence and the meeting and the outreaching, and that they see the same person every single day. From all the literature, that's one of the most important things. And I'm just really excited to see this, and thank you, Captain Cortina, for bringing this to us.
Thank you. And thank you for all the comments. That sounds like a very promising and much better approach than we've had in the past. So I'm excited to hear everything you both said, and excited to look to the future.
An enormous amount of data to quantify our efforts. So we'll be giving daily, weekly, monthly.
Perfect. Even better. I almost forgot to ask about that because we were getting no data previously.
And I'm responsible for the data. So my name's on it.
Awesome.
And lots of data. Every week on everybody's desk, how many people we've met with, how we've engaged them, what services. I just handed Hawthorne a report, and I gave the police and their city a report. We engaged with 60 individuals just for the week. And we can tell you who, what, where, when.
That's awesome.
Lots
That's
of data.
by leaps and bounds already better.
Yeah.
Councilmember
That
Wu.
data's big, and
I just,
Absolutely.
yeah, I just want to echo with my colleague. I think this is something wonderful, okay, and I want to thank Chief and Captain Cortina, okay, and Mary, okay. Can I call you Mary? Yes. Okay. Okay, and I don't know your last name, so I'm sorry. Okay, so Mary. Okay, and I think this is
I'm not even bringing up I'm a doctor. It's Mary.
okay, Dr. Mary, okay.
For the homeless.
Okay, so I think this is something, a wonderful partnership. I think this is going to, finally, we starting with something. We struggling with the station union. We struggling with LASA. We're struggling with, and finally, I think I want to thank, okay, Captain Cortina, okay, and the Chief, okay, and bring you on board and continue to find a way to help this the human tragedy issue, okay, and we cannot just abandon them. We can find a way, okay, to help them back on their feet. But the resource is what, and the capable person, okay, agency to do it rather than just time the clock and then don't do the thing. So I feel so confident. I feel so good. I hope we can build this relationship and increasing the budget so we can get the money from the major age. Yeah, and hopefully we're going to build more bed, okay, we build more resource so we can help those people off the street and back into the productive, okay, citizen for us and for themselves. So I want to move the motion to approve. I think this is a wonderful agenda. It's like a happy, okay, and story and something we feel hope that we can starting with something. So, okay, I move the motion to approve.
Thank you, Councilman Wu.
I'd like to second, and again, I am extremely excited and hopeful. This is fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a first and a second. May I have roll call, please?
Yes, I have a motion by Councilman Wu and a second by Councilmember Tabatabai. Councilmember Tabatabai?
Aye.
Councilman Wu?
Aye.
Mayor Castellanos?
Aye. Passes 3-0. Thank you both. Thank you, Captain Cortina. Thank you, Chief Bell.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mary.
Oh,
Sounds good. You could leave some for us, please.
Yeah, cell phone. Yeah, let me give it to you.
Perfect.
My cell phone's right on there, and I'm used to the city manager of Alhambra calling me saying, "What about?" And I'm on it. I'm used to it. Okay. I'm used to
Perfect.
it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. A lot of you.
That takes us to the final part of our agenda. Mayor, council member reports, requests, or comments. Is there anything my fellow colleagues would like to add? Councilman Wu.
I want to quickly add another, okay, similar to homeless, but before homeless, I request the city to look into grant from, okay, either county or state or federal to get a grant for, we can have some funding for the rental assistance program. Okay, we want to make sure we can give voucher for people potentially will be on the street, especially the family with children. And because eviction moratorium will come to an end, so some family who possible will be kicked on the street and live in the car. So we can emergency to help. Okay, and those people, we tried to get a $5.6 million from Amazon, but that deal looked like fading away. So hopefully we can get some other funding, okay, and from maybe HUD or this and that to get some funding for the city to pay for the voucher, and pay for the emergency rental. So, and that's my request for the city to.
Yeah, that's a great one. Very necessary. We got to keep this going. And Councilman Tabatabai, anything you'd like to add?
Yes, it's a piggyback on what Councilman Wu said. I also think this is an important issue to also be part of the school board conversation because, again, being able to identify those families. I know a lot of our schools have homeless students, and we want to prevent that. And so I definitely want to support that. Also, because park restrooms has been one of our major issues, Councilman Wu and I were able to open up the Del Norte baseball season, but it was, their restroom situation is really in bad shape. I mean, the smell that was coming onto the field, we didn't even go into the restroom, and so it's pretty urgent at that park, and so beyond just a new restroom, I think we need to go see what's going on there, because there shouldn't be a smell regardless, and so I'd like to make that request if we can get looked at that this week.
Hey, Councilman Wu.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I want to piggyback. We at Del Norte Park. Okay, and I get off the parking lot. I already can smell the ammonia. Okay, so this is I don't think it's healthy for our children to use the bathroom like this. So I thought possible some kind of sewage issue. Okay, and we need to check into it. So this is the first thing. And we went to the Palmview Park for another Little League. Okay, opening. We checked the bathroom. The bathroom is beautiful. Okay, no smell, and the brain is new. Okay, we was impressed. We almost want to use it because it's so nice. Okay, so Palmview Park bathroom is presentable and very new and clean. Okay, I think we have a couple of the park bathroom. Del Norte Park that is really need to attention right away. Okay, and then I think Cortez Park that has been remodeled in 2018, but I think they went through. Okay, so last time didn't do a good job. Hopefully this time we can do similar to the Palmview Park. And Palmview Park should be an example for all the park to have. They even have the blower. Okay, and I was impressed. I think that is something very impressive for all the park to do the same like Palmview. Okay, thank you.
Good point. Thank both of you. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, then we are adjourned. Yeah, it's a record. Maybe. It's up there.